few minutes to tell you my marketing agency story. You can see I'm at a red light over here right now, and I hope I don't get pulled over by the police, but this is going to be good. I've never posted about this online, even though I've been in the game for probably 7 years now, and I've built a $197,000 a month agency. I travel around the world. Last 5 years I've lived in 12 different countries with my wife and my kids, and I want to share with you how I got over here. But boy, it has not been pretty. In fact, it's been the opposite of that. It's been very ugly. I mean, there were stages where I ended up almost divorced, losing my hair, freaking burnt out, and I don't want you to be over there. I really don't want that for you, which is why I'm sharing this story. So, enthuse me. I started cold calling wedding venues back in 2015, and I basically closed no deals for 6 whole months. I mean, I remember I went on my honeymoon and we were coming back after an incredible vacation. My wife is over the moon. She's so happy we went to Mexico, to Cancun. And I just have a big knot in my stomach because I know that when we get home, I'm still going to be broke. I'm still going to be living with my parents. My wife is still going to be supporting me. But there was a glimmer inside me, man. I always believed in myself. I always freaking believed that I could do it. I knew I was capable of doing it. If some freaking people online on Instagram was showing me that they had this lifestyle, even if probably most of it was fake, it planted the seed of belief in me that I could do it too. I could have the freedom to live a life where I wouldn't have to work freaking 12, 14 hours a day, be gone from home for, days at a time like my dad was. And so I had this drive, I had this determination, but still, man, it was so tough to freaking be in this grind of calling people over and over again and just be told, fuck you, hey, what the hell do you know about marketing? And oh, the owner isn't available and he probably doesn't want to speak with you. Like, people can be very, very mean. And it's funny, I'm remembering all this as I'm sharing this story because I've forgotten about all this. But as I realized, man, I was just so gritty that I took 6 months of making 0 sales just because I believed that, hey, consistency, persistence, niche down, all this stuff, which is still true. But the one thing that hit me one day was when my wife came to me and said, look, you've been at this for many months now and you haven't made a single cent. I think it's about time that you should get a part-time job. And that really pissed me off because even though she was right and even though she meant the best for me, I felt like she was telling me that she didn't believe in me. So what I did is I decided to switch niches. I wanted a niche where I could get in touch with decision makers. And so I started calling all these contractors and I hit it off with the roofing contractors. And no, I didn't close any deals immediately, but I realized now I had something. I had put in the work over the last 6 months, cold calling, becoming confident, not giving up. And if I applied this to a new niche, I knew I'd break through. And so that belief, that confidence really kept me going. So I did that. And I spoke with contractors with the utmost confidence, believing that I could deliver them results. Not because I had much marketing knowledge and experience, but frankly, because I knew I'd put in more work. I knew I'd put in more time to make sure they got the results. I wouldn't throw in the towel. And I didn't. And the first sale that I ever got, I'll never forget it. I'm sitting in my bedroom, the same bedroom that I still actually live in with my parents, when I travel around the world and I come back and I stay with my parents because I love them. And I'm sitting over there just nervous, twiddling my thumbs, but I know that this guy wants what I have to offer. And then I just took a deep breath and I asked him, so Walt, what would be the next steps from here? And after a long pause, he said, Hamza, I want to move forward with you. I said, with your permission, Walt, is it all right if I hit the authorize button? He said, yes. And I clicked it. And I was like, dude, this is not going to go through. Okay, the system that I've built, it's not going to accept the credit card. Stripe is going to break. And bro, when it said complete, it's like adrenaline was going through my freaking body. And then I said, okay, well, the onboarding is done. I'll be reaching out to you within 24 hours. Have a great day. He said, all right, Hamza. And then we clicked the phone down. And bro, I just jumped out of my chair. And I was so happy. I was so happy. It's the happiest that I'd ever been because that was the first online sale that I ever made. And it was high ticket. It was $1,500. This created a whole new possibility for me. This told me that I could become financially free at a way younger age than my dad was ever able to. And so I was hooked from that point onwards. And so I continued to cold call. And over time, I had a business partner and we grew the agency just through cold calling to about $32,000. And then we invested in a bunch of programs. That's one thing that I did really, really well. I invested in programs, people that had already done what I wanted to do. I paid them for their time and their attention, and I was able to get to about $50,000. And then at that stage, frankly, I became greedy. And this is where my story starts going downhill, because I became obsessed with having a very, very big exit. I mean, I was talking about I wanted a 10, 20, $50 million exit. And over time, especially when the pandemic hit, I hunkered down and we hired more people. We hired sales reps. We started spending on paid ads. We hired a third business partner that could be a sales manager who eventually became the CEO. And we grew the company very, very aggressively. And we were also aggressively reinvesting that money back into ad spend, growing the team. I think we had 4 or 5 closes at one time. We were closing 30 deals a month. Like, it was insane. And, you know, the thing is that it was great at that time, but I was sacrificing my sleep. I was sacrificing time with my wife. I was in all these awesome countries, but I wasn't really present to enjoy it and take it in. And I was playing out a version of me that I thought I needed to be in order to be happy. And it's the wildest thing that I ever did, because in hindsight, I realize now that what I really needed was to focus on the things that always brought me happiness from the beginning, which was when back in college, I would spend time with my wife and I would hang out under a freaking, tree with her, and we'd go and grab sushi, just like basic stuff. And I was so focused on becoming this freaking high ticket guy, this entrepreneur, this facade. And I was empty. And as I said, I was losing my hair, I was losing sleep, and I was on the brink of divorce. I wasn't seeing my son, who was at that stage now like 9, 10 months old. And I was starting to resent my business partners, and I was starting to just lose faith. I wasn't praying. I wasn't connected with God. I was so disconnected from my purpose, which is to serve the people around me, my family, my team. I started judging the crap out of my team. And there came a stage where we just started being really cutthroat and firing vendors without paying them, the money that they were owed, and firing employees, and also just tolerating a bunch of problems that we didn't need to tolerate. And it was a weird time, dude. It was a really, really weird time. And in 2022, my business partners and we decided to get together and basically just make a decision that, look, there's so much opportunity cost over here right now. Even though the company is doing really big numbers revenue-wise, there's a bunch of clients that we don't really like. There's a bunch of promises we've made that we don't really want to fulfill on. And long story short, we decided to sell a bunch of our assets to competitors. And we didn't go through a formal exit, and we just shut down the rest and we laid everyone off. We got a lot of our people jobs at other companies. I still have a lot of grief on how we decided to end things, because I think we could have done it better. But at that stage, I think we were just so burnt out and we were so resentful and just not in a good spot, all because of greed, all because we wanted to grow this thing way faster than we should have. We weren't client focused. We weren't product focused. We were just sales and marketing focused. And we burnt our own ship in many ways. We burnt our own selves. We burnt a lot of relationships. And I was down again. It was almost like worse than what it was like before I started the agency. But it was helpful for me to just spend time with my wife and my kid and rekindle that bond. We traveled through Italy. I bought a car in Europe, like a used Citroen, like a V6, and I just drove that thing through not just Italy, but we drove it through Spain, we drove it through France, through Morocco. I spent a year and a half just self-reflecting, and I thought I was done with marketing. I thought I was just out of love with it, but that wasn't true. It wasn't true, because one of my old business partners from that agency reached out to me and said, hey man, I'm working with AT&T, I'm working with Frontier, I'm working with these big telecommunication companies, and they want us to do acquisition for their fiber optic internet. I said, sure. And I just went there and I started working for him for free. Didn't ask for any money, didn't ask for anything. I started copywriting. I started falling right back in love with marketing. It's like, man, I'm such a creative person. I should continue to write. My camera died because my battery was out, so I apologize. I'm going to continue where the story left off. I fell back in love with marketing, okay? And I would just go to as many of my friends as possible and offer them free marketing. Can you imagine this? I'm a guy that's grown this previous agency, And now I'm offering marketing services for free because I wanted to just immerse myself in as much as I possibly could, different offers, different funnels, different media buying strategies, different copywriting techniques, different, design that I had to create in order to create statics and videos for them for their marketing assets. And over time, these friends of mine just come to me and say, hey, you can't just keep working for free. We have to pay you. And every single one of them eventually started paying me north of $14,000 a month. And at any given time, I only have space for 5 clients. I don't have a very big agency. I have a team of just 5 individuals, a copywriter, my executive assistant, a media buyer, a graphic designer, and then myself. And most of my time is spent learning. Most of my time is spent making the product really, really damn good so I can retain these clients for years. And that's what the case is. I've had my clients, some of them for years. And guess what? Everything I do is on a revenue share because I believe that if I'm good at what I do, my results should speak for themselves. And if I'm not good, then fire me. Heck, I'll help you find the next person. Heck, if you want to put another media buying agency or marketer in the ad account to review what we do or to write more copy and to beat our control, go for it. Because I want to learn from them and I would love to see them beat us. That's how I roll now. I'm so client focused. I'm so product focused. And before, I was me focused. It was all about me making more money. And so if you're watching this right now, whether you're brand new, chances are you're probably doing a few 6 figures or maybe even 7 figures by now. I want you to recognize that product is everything. Okay, product is everything. In the beginning, it's like build the plane as you fly it, promise results, get clients, learn, and then get them the results. But now it's all about becoming the best, right? For us, it's being the best at media buying, the best at copywriting, and the best at our graphic design, really the best as a whole in direct response so that we can get our clients a better cost per acquisition or more appointments and more leads and more sales for what they're already spending. And I love that. And I'm so grateful to be doing what I'm doing. But more than anything, man, the one thing that I realize is that there's nowhere that you actually have to arrive to. This is it. This moment right here, right now, you watching this video, this is it. Can I be as happy, as content, as satisfied, as grateful as I will ever be, but in this moment? If I can get to a yes, then I've already won the game. There's no amount of money, recurring revenue, exit, wealth, prestige, growth that's going to mean anything unless right now, moment by moment, I'm able to recognize that I already have everything I need. The fact that I'm already ahead of so many individuals. I mean, I'm healthy, I'm young, I'm married with 2 beautiful kids. Hopefully, God gives us more. And even if He doesn't, again, it's, bro, everything's okay. And this is so underrated, man. Having this anxiety around needing to constantly have more, chase more. This is the doctrine of the West. This is the mantra of the West. Have more, consume more, make more, to consume more, to show off more, and then make other people consume more. We left the rat race so that we could have freedom. So what's up with this in slavery to some God that's outside of us? And I hate serving that God. I hate serving my own lust and my own desire, which is to just want to be superior and to be a godlike figure in the world, if I'm being completely honest with you. But when I shifted my focus from really that fear to faith, that's when things shifted for me, I'd say permanently. Because even when I'm losing, I'm winning. Because if a client leaves me and that's, $16,000, $17,000 a month gone, so what? I've made more than that before. I've lost more than that before. And what I'm trying to get to over here is that, especially if you're a man that has a family, that has good health, just recognize that it's not always going to be around, right? Like your kids are eventually going to grow up, your wife's eventually going to, maybe pass away. I know this is kind of morbid, but life changes at the drop of a hat. And agency isn't everything. Business isn't everything. It's just a means to an end. And ideally, you can serve and do good through your business. That's awesome. But man, I hope if you're watching this right now, you take one thing away. Be more present to what's already working. If you can be present to what's already working, you will find blessings in the most mundane things. Sometimes I get a little bit tired of having to, get to my office over here. But then as I'm recording this video right now, I'm realizing, holy crap, I have an office. Before I used to work out of my bedroom, and it's kind of distracting to have my kids running around, and I have a dedicated place that I can come to and record videos like these and connect with you guys. And so I'm really grateful right now. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.